All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's press conference. Coach Taylor will not start with an opening statement. We'll run right into questions. Please use the raise hand feature on Zoom and state your name and outlet before your question. Steve, you're up first.
Yeah, good afternoon, Troy. First question is just the status of Ashton Daniels. Obviously, he did not play after that injury early in the fourth quarter. What's his status?
Yeah, he's got a chance to play. It'll be just how much he improves throughout the week, but there's a definite chance he can play.
And if he does not, how much does that affect your playbook?
Not much. I mean, Justin he gets half the reps in practice each day, so he's got a lot of confidence in him. He knows the system well, so it will not affect play calling at all.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
You got it.
Thank you, Steve. Troy?
Yeah, Coach, a relatively closely played ball game within a score of making it a one-score game, even into the third quarter. So, given that, what was your message to the guys in the locker room after the game was over?
Yeah, just how close we were. I mean, when you look at the statistics and it's very telling. We were very physical on both sides of the ball. We had over 250 yards rushing and held them to about 150. And if you look at that statistic and physicality, you got a chance. Now, the other statistic obviously was the 4 turnovers. It lists as 3, but it's really 4. Those were crucial. So, against a team like Clemson, who's an elite team, they've been for a long time. You've got to take advantage of your opportunities, and you've got to come away with points in the red zone. You can't fumble the ball in 4th and 1. All those things. All guys are trying hard. They're effort plays, and you make second decisions. Thing about playing quarterback is you can play great 95% of the time, and because you handle the ball every play, if 5% of those reps are, not good, then you probably walk away feeling like you didn't play very well. So I feel very encouraged with our team and where we're at, the physicality, how hard we play. We were in a tough environment, and we were right there. But we just got to continue to get better. So proud of our guys, excited to play again. Now we're playing against another really good team, another great defense that we'll face, very physical and fast. Athletic quarterback, lots of skill guys, well coached. This is a great conference.
Thank you. Dylan?
Yeah, Coach. Jay Green was the other guy in the game who went down. Kind of talk about his status and what his status could be for this game coming up.
Yeah, right now questionable for Jay. So I don't have any information for you to give you right now.
Thank you.
Kaushik?
Yeah, Coach. I believe Mudia Rubin who got injured during the Syracuse game, is out for the season. Is he planning to take a medical red shirt?
Yeah, we'll see. I haven't had a chance to talk to him about that. Obviously he was really coming along as a player. He definitely has that option, and he wants to get through the surgery and all that. But he's got a big upside and an awesome guy. So if that's something he wants to do, then I'm in full support of that.
John?
Coach, obviously you started looking at the tape on the plane. I know you gave us a good rundown after the game, and I thought an accurate one of what the strengths were from your team during the game. Did you pull anything out from watching the tape that maybe you didn't see during the game, maybe a player or two, or just something that was really working?
Yeah, no, I think it was pretty, after watching the tape, I felt even strongly about it, or more strongly about it. Yeah, they're a tremendous team. I mean, they make your margin for victory very slim just because they're so fast and athletic and well coached. And it's a tough environment. So, we got to learn to be able to execute on every single play, those crucial ones. Obviously there were some PIs, and one of them I don't really think was a PI, but we'll clean up some stuff. But really proud of our guys and how hard we played on defense, and really eliminating, for the most part, the run game. So we still got lots of room for improvement, but I walk away from that tape saying, we got a good football team. and excited to watch us improve. And we're still young. Our offensive line played very well against an elite defensive line. We ran the ball well, and I thought we protected well, and we were really good on third down. So excited about our offensive line, knowing that their growth is going to continue. And then obviously we've got a great look at Micah Ford and Em Mosley, two young guys that are going to be terrific, and they're just going to continue to get better.
Ben?
David Bailey's been having a really strong season so far. Number 2 rush in the country according to Pro Football Focus. But he's also gotten fewer defensive snaps each week, including just 16 against Clemson. Could you just talk a little bit about how you guys are kind of thinking through the trade-offs inherent in keeping him fresh in critical situations versus trying to maximize his contributions as much as possible?
Yeah, David's a crucial part of our defense, and he had a physical thing that he had to deal with a little bit, so we limited him a little bit. But we think he's getting close to full go. So part of that was just limiting the reps because of a physical issue. So, but we think he's going to be great. Obviously, the more he's on the field, he creates a lot of chaos in pass protection. And he's got a tremendous upside. So I'm excited about him hopefully being able to play more and more each game.
Mason?
Hey, Coach. Before the game against Clemson, you guys simulated crowd noise to better prepare the guys. In retrospect, how effective do you think that was compared to the real life environment in the stadium?
Yeah, I think, Syracuse was really loud. Clemson was an incredible environment. I think it was pretty good. I think we had one illegal procedure penalty on offense. So I think the communication was good. I mean, honestly, on the sidelines, I'm almost screaming the plays to hear in the huddle. I mean, it's that loud. So our guys did a good job, 2 weeks straight of playing in a loud environment. And I felt they rose to the occasion, and the communication was really good. But it'll be nice to be back home for sure.
Steve?
Yeah, Troy, if I can go back a bit to Ashton's injury. I know there are certain things you can't say about specific injuries. Can you give us a general thing? Is it leg? Was it arm?
Yeah, it's lower body. But again, we're very optimistic about his recovery. Other than that, I'm not going to say much. But it's a day-to-day deal, and it's just how much he progresses, how quickly, if he's ready to play.
Fair enough. That's flipping it a little bit. Clearly, last season, one of the things your offense lacked was production from the running game. And really, you can almost say it even outside of Ashton, in the first 2 games this season, you really didn't get much production from your running backs running the ball. You've gotten a lot of production in the last 2 weeks. How much did the bye week help into that? How have you gotten so much better running the ball in the last 2 weeks than you really had in a season and 2 games?
That's a great question, and we talked about that actually last night. What the progression has been. I think part of it is the young guys that we're playing are just getting better. So our 2 O-line coaches, Al and V, are doing a tremendous job getting those guys better. They've got a lot of ability, and they're continue to move upward. And then our young running backs are really good. And so I think it's a combination of those things. They're just hopefully the trend will continue, but you're absolutely right. The last couple of games, there's been a great spike. I mean, you're talking about Clemson. There's one of the elite teams in the country, and to be able to run the football like that, I'm really proud of our offensive players. So excited about. Now we got to continue to get better, but they did a pretty good job of protecting. And when you run the ball well, usually protection is going to come a little bit easier. That being said, we got to make more plays in the pass game. And do a better job in that area, but very happy with our progress. I thought the last 2 weeks is the best our O-line has played since I've been here. Now, in fairness, those guys were really inexperienced that played last year. It was trial by fire. We're playing a true freshman at tackle. He's doing a great job, Khalil House, and he'll continue to get better. Really on offense, we really only have one senior, and all those guys will be coming back. So we're a really young team. That's why I'm so excited about the future. We got some really good, strong senior leaders, especially on the defensive side of the ball that help with that. But other than that, we're a pretty young team.
Kaushik?
Oh yeah, coach. If Jay Green is out for this game, who do you anticipate will start at that nickel corner position?
Yeah, we got a number of guys that can do it. Aaron Morris is a young man that's started to play a lot of football and has done some good job. And then we got some younger freshmen that can also contribute. And then Colin Wright always has the ability to play nickel, which he did on Saturday night. He played nickel most of the evening after Jay went out.
John?
Coach, give us your overview of Virginia Tech. I think you alluded to the fact that they're experienced, something like 19 starters back. The quarterback is dynamic and big. What's your overview of the team that's coming to Stanford Stadium on Saturday?
I read where they have the most experience coming back at the FBS level. I know they have 9 starters on defense coming back. I've watched mostly at this point in the week, to be completely honest, I've watched mostly their defense. I know their quarterback is a stud. He's very strong and athletic, got a lot of ability. Defensively, great D line, very fast. I like their corners and their safeties. Backers are aggressive. They're very decisive, well-coached defense. They hit it downhill in a hurry. They know where they're going. They have good eyes. Just all the things that you expect at a really well-coached team. So this is a great team. Now, I know coming in, they had a high ranking and expectations. They've had some tough losses, but they're really close losses. One was in overtime. So, and then they almost won on the last play of the game this last weekend. So a team that could easily be undefeated. So I know they're hungry and they're confident. It's a very good football team.
Ben?
Yeah, just kind of on the offensive line. How do you feel at this point you pretty much have your starting 5 solidified, or where are you kind of in that process in terms of getting a starting 5 for the offensive line?
Yeah, I would say that's going to be our starting 5 moving forward. That being said, competition's always open, and if guys emerge and get better, which happens, nothing's ever set in stone. But that's the group right now we're gonna run with, and again, happy with their progress. Want to take another step this weekend.
Troy?
Yeah, Coach, heat could very well be a factor in preparation, of course, throughout the week, and it looks like it's going to be a hot one on Saturday. What sort of variables does heat play as far as preparing and playing a football game?
Yeah, I think hydration, and it's an early start, and obviously our guys start their day pretty early, on a general schedule. So I don't think that'll be a factor. But in Virginia Tech, they've obviously played in much hotter and more humid weather than what they're going to see on Saturday. And we practiced in the heat out here. It's a drier heat, so our guys will be ready to go. They're excited about playing at home.
Mason?
Coach, Clemson presents a pretty high-powered offense in FBS, a challenge for any defense. But there were some struggles in the back end on Saturday. Do you anticipate shuffling the starting lineup in the secondary at all before Saturday's game against Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all hands on deck. It's competition. There's no position that is just set in stone. So, when you're playing some man coverage, you're going to be on an island. And, I think with Zarn, he was in really good position on a couple of the PI calls that he just kind of made some contact, but he was in really good position. So those guys are really explosive. The quarterback's really good. And when you're mixing up your coverages, you're going to be one-on-one. That being said, we know we got to improve and limit the big plays. But I'm excited about our defense. I really am, and our guys, and just got to hold on a little bit more in coverage. And part of that is getting pressure on the quarterback. And but I thought we did some great things, and really excited to be able to have an opportunity to play again this weekend.
John?
Coach, both in the TCU game and this game, you talked to us after the game about, we got to get the passing game going. Is that something that sort of, after you've assessed the tape, you think, okay, these guys run these routes better, or, as a coach, how much of scheme manipulation or new creativity is part of that, and how much is just we got to do reps and it's there. We just got to be better at it.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. So as you go through, you might find trends of how people are playing you. So you got to be really aware of what they're seeing as an opposition and what they're taking away. And then, obviously getting Emmett Mosley back is going to help us a lot. That was his first game in college football. And he did a nice job. So that will help us. But yeah, we got to get better. We got to throw the ball better. We got to catch it better. We got to create more space. And so to answer your question, John, it's both. It's being open to whatever will help our guys to create space and get open, and then also looking at what opportunities are against each opponent, because each opponent offers a new challenge and sometimes new opportunities. So it's a balance of the two.
Kaushik?
Oh, yes, coach. Presuming that Ashton is out, and I think Elijah Brown would also be out too. Who would be next on the QB depth chart after Justin Lamson?
So you have Miles Jackson and Charlie Meyer would be the next two quarterbacks available.
Ben?
Yeah, just you seem to be pretty aggressive on fourth downs, not afraid to go for it. Just kind of talk about kind of your philosophy on when to go for it and just kind of how you approach those fourth down conversion attempts.
Yeah, so we have analytics, and it's definitely a resource that we utilize. It's not the end all. There was a time actually later in the game where analytics told us we should be going for it and we punted. So, but in general, if you're going to play and beat a team like Clemson, you're going to have to take advantage of opportunities on 4th and 1s and fourth down opportunities in the red zone when you got to get the ball in the end zone. So, if you're trying to keep it close, that's really not what we're trying to do. We're trying to win the game. And so we're going to be a little bit more aggressive in that area. And, sometimes it's going to work out and sometimes it's not. But analytics is definitely kind of the first source of information that we utilize. And I get that information on basically every play or anytime it gets close to 3rd down, at least.
Gary?
Coach, you had the cross-country trips now 2 weeks in a row. Last week, you also had to deal with the hurricane. You've been in 2 incredible stadiums. I've been to Clemson several times. There's really few like that one in the country. How are you feeling about the experience of being in the ACC and going cross-country, and how do you think the players are reacting?
Yeah, I mean, I think two trips in a row to the East Coast is probably enough for a little bit. But that being said, we enjoyed the challenges. Syracuse was an incredible environment, just like you said. Clemson was as good as it gets. Our guys love that; they love playing in that atmosphere, and so we welcome it. This is a really good conference. I mean, you look at our schedule and the teams that we're playing; these are really good football teams. So you got to be ready every single week, and we're challenged. So we love being in the ACC. I've said it before. We're very grateful to be in it, and if it means a little bit of travel, that's fine. Our guys want to play at this level, and we're always excited about going and playing on the road. And this last one, we gave it a good shot and didn't work out. But next time we go on the road, we'll be ready to roll again.
Dylan?
Yeah, coach, kind of going back to Charlie and Miles at quarterback, so far what you've seen out of them, kind of assess what they've been able to bring and what you've seen out of them so far.
Yeah. They're both guys that are very intelligent. It's very important to them. So they've put the work in. They've gotten reps in the spring ball, both of them. And in fall camp, as of recently, not a lot of reps just because, we go heavy on the 1s and the 2s at quarterback, but those guys will get reps this week. I got a lot of confidence in them. They're 2 bright guys that are talented, and they'll be ready to roll for sure.
We have time for 3 more questions. Ben?
Yeah, just on Elikai Manor, what could you guys be doing to get him a little bit more involved in the offense? Obviously, he's the featured guy, and teams are going to try to double him and stuff like that. But what could you guys be doing to maybe get him a little bit more going in some of these games?
Yeah, that's a good question. He had a number of targets in the game, and we'll continue to make him an important part of the offense. We're aware of plays and certain situations, he's the primary receiver because he's a really good player, you know. And that being said, we got some other good wide receivers, and having Emmett Mosley come back, I think that is going to alleviate a little bit of pressure where sometimes, you know, Clemson did a good job of kind of clouding their coverage towards him. Not always, but they did a mix where he was a primary receiver and they were tilting the coverage towards him, which has happened with him because he's a good player. But we'll continue to work, you know, as long as we continue to run the ball well and protect, he's going to have a lot of opportunities.
John?
Coach, I'm always fascinated by the quarterback position. I mean, there's so much that goes into it, and you lived it. And there are games when you excel, and there are games when you throw multiple picks. You coach the quarterbacks, and so sort of managing them during the game and their psychology. How do you do that with a national? I mean, he seems mature, I think, and I think sometimes you know when you missed it or like to have this one back, which is your management of quarterbacks when it's a tough game.
Yeah, I mean, you try to be the same person, you know. So, you know, obviously you acknowledge it and talk about it, but he knows, like you mentioned, he knows exactly the mistake he made right when he made it. So part of it is just, you know, hey, you got to move forward. Obviously, you talk about throwing the ball away. You don't have to make a play. Sometimes the best plays that a quarterback makes is simply throwing the ball away. Their snap second decisions. Made a poor decision on the first pick, and in the second one, he was trying to throw the ball out of bounds and just didn't get enough on it, and at the right angle towards the sidelines. And on that one, just throw it in the stands. I mean, be sure of it. He's got lots of arm strength. So that's what we talked about on those two. The really interesting part is he was making exceptionally good decisions on the rest of the game, especially in the run game where he's got a lot of reads. He was running really hard. He was making good decisions. Unfortunately, it's just those, you know, it's kind of like in a golf game. When you have a bad hole, you got to be able to move on to the next hole, which I don't. I usually carry it on to the next hole. And so as a quarterback, you know, you're going to have bad moments. And what we talk about is learning from it, and then you got to let it go and move on to the next. And usually that's a hard thing to do. And then when you have a couple of them in a row, then they can start building on you. But he never sulked and never really got down on himself. He was more mad at himself. So I was proud of that. But we got to have more progress in games moving forward of not doing that again, because it just puts the team in a really unfortunate situation.
Troy, Clarity, you'll have our last question.
Yeah, knowing what we know now, it kind of seems like it was a small miracle that that game was actually played on Saturday. Uh, Given that, what do you think that says about, you know, all the pieces, the moving pieces that it took to get this game on and to make sure it was on, not just from Stanford's perspective, but from the Clemson folks as well?
Yeah, no, I was talking to Dabo before the game, and they didn't even have electricity at the hotel, so they all stayed at their own home. So, and driving in, as you know, I mean, you could see the debris and from the storm. And so, yeah, they did a tremendous job of having the field was in great shape. The venue was great, great people. It was an awesome experience, other than, you know, we would have liked to have, you know, flown away with the win. But yeah, and our people did a great job. And, you know, our guys, when our original flight got canceled, our guys didn't blink. We just continued to move forward and adjust. So our guys are really resilient. And so proud of how they handle themselves. But yeah, hats off to Clemson. That's an incredible game experience.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back with players.
Thanks, guys. Go Card.
Sorry that took so long, guys.
All right, welcome back. We are here with Gaethan Bernardel. We will take questions the same way we took them for coach. John, you're up first.
Gaethan, how was Clemson compared to what you anticipated? You saw them on film, you know the reps of the players, or more generally after games, just sometimes you come out of a game saying, boy, those guys are really different, or yeah, that's about what I expected.
Yeah, obviously Clemson's a good football team. They're probably going to compete for a conference or national championship. So, obviously after the game, there's a lot of good things that we did on defense. So, really proud of how we played as a defense and trying and seeing where we're at right now as a defense and as a team overall. And obviously we have things to get better at, but just coming out the game, obviously we were in the game all the way up until like the fourth quarter, but just coming out that game, we felt a lot better about where we are as a defense. Obviously we still let up a lot of points, but we're very, very positive going forward.
Kaushik?
Hey guys, and Josiah Galvin made his Stanford debut on Saturday, and even got a sack. What do you think maybe Stanford fans have been missing the first 3 games of the season without him?
Yeah, Ja's a guy that came in from UNI, and you can tell just by his attitude and what he does in practice that he's going to be a guy that he's going to be a really good player. He already is a good player, but you kind of see the flashes of him coming in the game and doing exactly what he did, and I'm really excited to see more that he could do for us.
Troy?
Yeah, grand scheme of things, how close is this team to achieving some of the things that it really, really wants and hopes to achieve this year, based on how things went overall against Clemson?
We're really close, and I know you guys can see that from the outside looking in, and all the fans around the country. But we're really close to cracking this thing wide open, and we're going to continue to get better every single day. We're not going to take anything for granted. We're going to respect our opponents, but we're still going to go out there and play Stanford brand of football. We're really close, trust me.
John?
Gaethan, the last couple of weeks, or really all season, but especially the last couple of weeks, the first 2 levels have played terrifically. Have just a quantum leap from last year. To what do you give that credit? Is that just older guys just wanting to set a standard? Are there new schemes from Coach April? How do you explain to us the rise of the first 2 levels and the sort of the heat you're putting on the quarterback while still containing the run game?
I would say just a lot of credit to our coaches, but also our players as well. A lot of guys are starting to buy in a lot more, and like we talked about it last week, John. The year 2 learning is really playing into effect, and with the buy-in that a lot of guys we're buying it a lot more. So we trust the coaches a lot more. We're a lot more comfortable with them, and you see that taking place on the field. And it could be something as little as maybe running to the football or finishing with violent arms and violent hands, just doing all the little things right. Because Coach D'Onofrio always says, defense is about doing all the little things right in order to be a good defense at the end of the day.
Troy?
Your thoughts on Virginia Tech and what the challenges they pose from the offensive side of the ball with the very good dual threat quarterback and a super physical running back as well.
Yeah, but they're a really good team. We're gonna, like I said, we're always gonna respect our opponent. They do produce some challenging runs that we haven't seen all season. So, but our coaches are doing a great job in getting us prepared for that, and everything that we're doing in practice, from the start of practice all the way to the end is all about Virginia Tech, and we're ready for any challenge that they throw at us, and our coaches are doing a great job at getting us prepared.
Well, what'd you make of that ending to their game on Friday night? That was I'm still not exactly 100% sure who actually had possession of that ball at the end.
Yeah, that was a crazy ending. I was watching that game live. It was a crazy ending. The refs called the game. I have my opinions. Other people have their own opinions, but the big thing is that game could have went either way. They were playing a good Miami team, and like the game could have went either way. And Virginia Tech is a really good team, and we're going to be prepared for them when they come out here.
John?
Yeah, then you probably have more experience than this regarding this point than anybody else. But when the game's going to be hot, we're having a heat wave this week. Temperature might be high 80s, low 90s, afternoon, midday start. But what's your personal approach when you have a game coming like that? And what do you tell the younger guys about games like that?
Sleep is. When it comes to recovery, I'm big on sleep. I try to get at least 8 hours a night. Sleep and hydration. Our coaches do a great job of we do hydration testing every other day and making sure that guys are well hydrated. And I tell the young guys, go to sleep, put the phone away, get your work done early, watch some tape. But when it's time to go to bed, man. And sleep is the biggest thing I can give them. I can tell them, get ready for early kickoff like this.
Any other questions for Gaethan? Steve.
Yeah, I think kind of following up on or maybe John's question about Virginia Tech. What do you see in drones? What makes him effective, and how can you stop him from being that effective?
It's not only me, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Defense. Yeah, obviously, yeah, but we have to run to the football. We have to be able to be more physical than they are up front and in the secondary. I tell Coach April all the time, Coach, you call the shots and we just send them. You know what I mean? And just being able to be physical, being able to be smart, tough, dependable, and do everything we do on defense and 11 hats on the ball. And at the end of the play, if you stop the film and we have more hats on the ball than they do, then we're doing something right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with running back Micah Ford.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, we are back with running back Micah Ford, the ACC Rookie of the Week. We'll take questions same way we took them for Gaethan and Coach Taylor. Kaushik?
Yeah, Micah. Just on the offensive side of the ball, you have several freshmen playing yourself, Chris Davis, Emmett Mosley, Khalil House. When you were recruited here to Stanford, did the coaches maybe pitch you on being able to play early as a freshman? Can you just take us through that?
Oh yeah, as soon as I met Coach Taylor and all the staff, Coach Agnew like that, they're so welcoming, and they're letting me know that I had a chance to play as soon as I got here. So that really definitely played a role in my decision to come here. And I just thank them for putting me in this position.
John?
Micah, give us a window into your high school career. We look at the numbers and we see, almost 1,000 yards passing, a lot of touchdowns, mid double digits, same, running the football, 1,700 yards. Did you play multiple positions? Were you an option quarterback? What was your positions or positions plural in high school?
For my sophomore year, I played running back a freshman, but that was COVID year, and I was sharing time with another senior, so I wasn't really getting as much reps. So I made that transition into quarterback my sophomore year, and I played defense. I played safety. I really like playing defense. If I had to play defense here, I would take that. Take that most definitely. But I was a dual threat quarterback. I ran the ball way more than I threw it, but I like when I had to throw the ball, I completed it. Like 3rd and 10. I'll get that for sure.
Troy?
Yeah, Micah, two things. And maybe your Stanford football identity is still kind of being formed to some extent, but what do you take with you out there on the field whenever you step out there? What sort of characteristics do you bring out there with you?
I always bring God with me, because he's my protector. And I know when he's by my side, I'm gonna be straight. And just take I was watching you remember that quarterbacks film on Netflix? So what I took from it when George Kittle was like, inhale confidence, exhale fear. So that's what I really try to do, I'm just being in that stage as a freshman, not a lot of people get the chance to do that. So I don't want to take it for granted. I play every snap my hardest and just go out there for a fight, be ready for anything thrown at me. At the end of the day, we're all humans, all made the same. People might be bigger, people might be stronger, but I trust in my abilities.
Second thing, you're from Toms River, New Jersey. A couple weeks ago, playing against Syracuse, you faced a boatload of Jersey guys on that roster. I imagine that, given the result, that win might have been a little bit more special for you.
Oh yeah, that one was definitely special. I had my dad in the crowd watching that game. I would say I played a pretty good game. I had some hiccups here and there, but it happens. But yeah, it was definitely good to get that win. Especially on the East Coast, so close to home. It was like 4.5 from my actual house. And yeah, I had a lot of friends. I wouldn't say call them friends. They're a little mad about the loss, but they hit me up. I had Emmanuel Ross actually hit me up today. I'm saying congratulations. He said he was just getting over the loss, so I understand it.
Kaushik?
Yeah, Micah. Just wondering, you've played 3 games against power conference opponents. Just from your perspective coming in as a freshman, maybe what's been the biggest adjustment you've had to make in terms of, playing, a high level of competition?
The biggest adjustment I would just say just the speed of the game, and the play calls, they're like in high school I get one word like South Carolina and I knew the whole play and where everything was going. But now it's like way longer calls and you gotta listen into every single detail of the call or the whole play can be messed up. So I'll say that just being just adjusting to the speed of the game and the power and things like that.
Mason?
Hey, Micah, even just over the last few weeks, the offensive line really has seen improvement as a unit. How how much easier does that make it on you to find the rushing holes and really have a good game out there?
Oh yeah, our lineman has done a phenomenal job. We have a few young guys on the line, so we're kind of still adjusting, but I'm glad to see that they're coming together. And without a line, you cannot run the ball. It's almost impossible. So it just shows like even though like it may seem that my performance was well, you should gotta look into every single aspect that goes into it, and the offensive line plays a big role in that.
John?
Micah, how would you rate yourself as a receiver? I think you watch the pro game or college game, and more the running back, the value of the running back is being able to catch the football. You told us about your high school, running the ball, passing the ball from the quarterback position. How are you as far as catching the ball? Are there play calls for that? And how do you assess yourself on that dimension to this point?
Oh yeah, playing quarterback in high school, I caught the ball every play. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't spirals. I had to figure out how to catch it over my head. Side, left, didn't really matter. So that really helped me out with my receiver. Yeah, and I'm able to get out and run routes. They put me out there. There are plays where um designed for me to catch the ball into space. So yeah, and Coach Taylor, I feel like I heard an interview saying that I had good hands. So I believe I have good hands.
Kaushik?
Yeah, Micah, could you just also talk about, Cedric Irvin as a lead blocker on some of these run plays? I feel like he's done a really good job, opening up some holes for the running backs.
Yeah, most definitely. Said is he's a hard working individual. I really like him. He's funny. When it's time to lock in, he locks in for sure. Yeah, Said is a very, very, very physical player. He likes taking on the contact, so his blocks are definitely crucial to our runs. He's kind of like plays a role just like the offensive linemen do. If he doesn't make that big block, maybe it's a 5 yard play instead of 20. So I'm very thankful to have him on my team blocking for me. Not a lot of teams get running backs that are able to block that well, so I'm just thankful.
Steve?
Yeah, Micah, playing so many different positions you did in high school, maybe you didn't have a running back in the NFL whom you tried to emulate. But what were there guys when you're growing up? I'd like to be like this guy, like that guy.
To be honest, I didn't like I still to this day I don't really watch a lot of football. Like obviously I watch tape on my opponents, but like NFL or like college football, like I like to be outside. I like to enjoy nature. I'm not really one to sit there and watch football games. So I don't really have a guy.
Micah, you come again back to high school. You're used to winning. It says here a couple of state championships, and I'm sort of noticing with this staff that one of the recruiting elements is a lot of the guys coming in have won big. Do you feel like you can bring that attitude to the team? Like, what is it? Do you acquire something when you're used to winning state titles and expecting that of yourself and other guys?
Yeah, one thing about winning is got to know how to win. There's certain things that goes into winning and the preparation to be able to win. So I think winning a lot in high school and knowing what it takes to win and winning at a big stage such as like state championships and playing at Clemson, even though we didn't win, we had a chance. Yeah, that definitely like all comes together as one. Recruiting a lot of people that win, adds like a certain attitude to your team. And just because guys want to go out there and just give it their all, because they know that one play they don't give it all can cost them the whole game. So,
Any other questions for Micah? All right, thank you so much for attending today's press conference.